Captain Marcus Chen stood at the viewing window of Kepler 7 station, watching alien ships move through space like metal fish swimming in an endless ocean. The space station was huge, bigger than any human city, and it floated between two star systems like a bridge made of steel and glass. Marcus wore his best Earth uniform. The blue fabric had gold stripes on the shoulders, and a small Earth flag patch sat over his heart. He was 42 years old, with gray hair starting to show at his temples. His hands were steady, but his mind was working fast. Today would decide if humans joined the galaxy as friends or if something else would happen. Behind him, 3 other humans waited at a metal table. They were his team: Sarah, his communications officer, James, his science advisor, and Lisa, his security chief. All of them looked calm, but Marcus knew they were ready for anything. The door opened with a soft sound, and the Zephyrians walked in. They looked like tall, thin humans, but their skin was blue-gray and their eyes were silver. They moved like dancers, smooth and quiet. The leader was called High Counselor Vex. He was taller than the others, and his robes were covered in glowing symbols. "Captain Chen," Vex said. His voice sounded like music, but cold music. "We welcome you to our space." Marcus bowed his head a little. "Thank you, High Counselor. Earth is happy to meet the Zephyrian Empire." They all sat down at the table. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the station's machines. Marcus could see more alien ships through the window. There were hundreds of them, all pointing toward the station. Vex placed a small device on the table. It looked like a crystal, but it glowed with soft blue light. "This translator will help us understand each other," he said. "Your language is..." "Simple, but we can work with it." Marcus felt his team tense up behind him, but he kept his face calm. "We're here to talk about trade and friendship between our peoples," he said. "Yes," Vex said, but he smiled in a way that made Marcus uncomfortable. "We have looked at your species for some time, Captain Chen. Humans are interesting." "How so?" Marcus asked. Vex touched the crystal and images appeared in the air above the table. They showed Earth, human cities, human ships. "You are young. Your technology is basic. You have only been in space for a short time, but you spread fast and you work hard." The images changed. Now they showed human colonies, mining stations, and trade ships. Marcus realized the Zephyrians had been watching humans for years. "We believe humans would make excellent workers," Vex continued. "Your people are strong and they learn quickly. The Empire has many worlds that need workers." Marcus felt cold inside. "Workers?" "Yes," another Zephyrian said. This one was female with longer robes. "The galaxy has an order, Captain Chen. Some species lead, others follow. Some think, others work. Humans would fit well in the working class." Marcus looked at his team. Sarah's hand was near her communication device. James was taking notes, but his eyes were angry. Lisa's hand was close to her weapon. "I think there's been a misunderstanding," Marcus said slowly. "Earth sent me here to discuss equal partnership. We want to trade as friends, not work as servants." Vex laughed, and the sound was like ice breaking. "Captain Chen, you don't understand your place yet. That's normal. Many young species think they are equal to their betters. Time teaches them otherwise." Marcus stood up. "High Counselor, I think this meeting is over. We'll return to Earth and report what we've learned here." "No," Vex said, and his voice was no longer musical. It was hard like stone. "You will not." The crystal on the table began to glow brighter. Marcus felt strange, like electricity was moving through his body. His team tried to stand, but they couldn't move. "This device does more than translate," Vex explained. "It can also control basic nervous systems. Very useful for dealing with lower species." Marcus fought against the feeling, but his body wouldn't obey him. The other humans were frozen too, their eyes wide with fear and anger. More Zephyrians entered the room. They wore armor and carried weapons that looked like silver sticks. Guards. "Captain Chen, you will come with us," Vex said. "Your crew will be returned to their ship and sent back to Earth with a message. They will tell your leaders what happened here. They will explain Earth's new place in the galaxy." Marcus found he could speak, but he couldn't move. "You're making a mistake," he said. "Earth won't accept this." "Earth will accept what they must accept," the female Zephyrian said. "Many species have learned this lesson. Now it's humanity's turn." The guards lifted Marcus from his chair. He couldn't resist, but his mind was still working. As they carried him toward the door, he looked at Sarah. She was trying to speak, fighting against the device's control. "Sarah," Marcus said, putting everything he could into his voice. Tell them about the Morning Star Protocol. Tell them the sunrise comes after the darkest night. Tell them Marcus Chen remembers the lesson of Thermopylae. Vex looked confused. What is he saying? Nothing important, Marcus said quickly. Just words of comfort for my people. But Sarah's eyes showed she understood. Those weren't just words. They were code. Hidden inside normal sentences were numbers, locations, and information about Zephyrian defenses that Marcus had observed. Sarah was smart. She would remember every word. The guards dragged Marcus out of the room. As the door closed behind him, he heard Vex talking to his team. You will return to your ship now. You will tell Earth what happened here. You will explain that Captain Chen is our guest until humanity accepts its proper role. If Earth tries to resist, Captain Chen will suffer. If Earth tries to attack, Captain Chen will die. This is how young species learn wisdom. Marcus was taken through long hallways filled with alien technology. The station was huge, and he saw many different species walking through the corridors. Some looked like birds, others like reptiles, and some he couldn't identify at all. But they all moved aside when the Zephyrians passed. They all looked down at the ground. Finally, the guards brought him to a small room with metal walls. There was a bed, a small table, and a window that looked out into space. They pushed him inside and the door sealed shut with a soft hiss. Marcus sat on the bed and looked out the window. He could see his ship in the distance, tiny against the stars. Soon Sarah and the others would be on their way back to Earth. They would deliver Vex's message, but they would also deliver his hidden code. Marcus smiled for the first time since the meeting started. The Zephyrians thought they were so smart. They thought humans were just another young species to be controlled and used. They had no idea what they had just done. Earth had protocols for situations like this. Plans made by smart people who understood that sometimes diplomacy failed. Sarah would know what to do with his message. The numbers he had given her would tell Earth everything they needed to know about Zephyrian ships, weapons, and defenses. The Zephyrians wanted to teach humanity a lesson. But they were about to learn one themselves. They had just captured the wrong human. And Earth didn't leave its people behind. Marcus lay down on the small bed and closed his eyes. Whatever came next, he would be ready. Sarah Martinez stood in the command center of Earth's Strategic Defense Complex, deep under the mountains of Colorado. Her hands shook as she finished giving her report to the highest leaders of Earth. The room was full of generals, admirals, and politicians all listening with grim faces. "And that's everything Captain Chen said?" asked Admiral Reeves, a tall woman with steel gray hair and cold blue eyes. She had been Marcus's partner years ago before duty separated them. "Yes, ma'am," Sarah said, word for word. "The Morning Star Protocol, sunrise after darkest night, and Thermopylae." General Harrison, head of Earth's military, typed numbers into his computer. "The code checks out. Marcus gave us complete intelligence on their ship formations, weapon systems, and shield frequencies." He looked up at the others. He saw everything we needed. "What about the Zephyrian demands?" asked President Chen, no relation to Marcus despite the same last name. "They want us to surrender our independence and become workers in their empire." Admiral Reeves stood up. Her face was hard as stone. "They have our best diplomat. They're torturing him and broadcasting it across the galaxy as entertainment. They think we'll surrender to save one man. Will we?" asked Secretary Williams. The room was quiet for a long moment. Finally, Admiral Reeves spoke again. "Marcus Chen wrote the Lazarus Protocol himself 3 years ago. He said if he was ever captured, we should follow it exactly. No negotiations, no surrenders, no mercy." President Chen looked around the room. "Are we really going to do this? Start a war over one person?" "It's not about one person," General Harrison said. "It's about what we are. If we let them take Marcus and do nothing, every species in the galaxy will think humans are weak. They'll think they can take any of us whenever they want." Admiral Reeves walked to the big screen on the wall. It showed a map of the galaxy with hundreds of star systems marked in different colors. Red dots showed Zephyrian military bases. Blue dots showed human colonies. "For 50 years we've been playing the role of peaceful traders," she said. "We've hidden our real capabilities. We've let other species think our technology is simple and our military is small. That ends now." She pressed a button and the map changed. Now it showed thousands of blue dots. Human ships, stations, and weapons that nobody else knew existed. "Marcus helped design this strategy," Admiral Reeves continued. "We've been preparing for this day since first contact with alien species. Every human colony has hidden military factories. Every trading ship has concealed weapons. Every mining station can become a fortress. Sarah stared at the screen in shock. There are so many. We've been building in secret for decades, General Harrison explained. The Zephyrians think they know us, but they've only seen what we wanted them to see. President Chen looked worried. The other species in the galaxy. They'll be terrified of us after this. Good, Admiral Reeves said coldly. Fear means respect. Respect means they'll think twice before hurting humans. The president was quiet for a moment, then nodded. Do it, bring Marcus home. Admiral Reeves smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator. Yes, sir. Sarah, you're coming with me. You know Marcus better than anyone here. I want you on my command ship. 3 hours later, Sarah stood on the bridge of the EFS Marcus Chen, Earth's newest and most powerful warship. The ship was huge, bigger than anything Earth had ever built before, but somehow the aliens had never detected it. It had been hidden in the asteroid belt, disguised as a mining station. Around them, hundreds of other human ships appeared from their hiding places. Some came from fake asteroids, others from gas clouds where they had waited for years. Ships that looked like peaceful traders suddenly opened up to reveal massive weapons. Mining stations turned into military bases. Admiral Reeves stood at the center of the bridge, watching screens that showed human fleets forming up across the galaxy. All ships report ready, said the communications officer. Sir, said the tactical officer, we're receiving messages from other species. They're asking what we're doing. Some sound scared. Ignore them, Admiral Reeves ordered. We have nothing to say right now. Sarah looked at the screens showing alien news broadcasts. Reporters from dozens of different species were talking about the sudden appearance of human military forces. Some called it impossible. Others called it terrifying. They never saw this coming, Sarah said. That was the point, Admiral Reeves replied. Marcus understood that sometimes peace requires the ability to wage war. We've been peaceful because we chose to be, not because we had to be. Meanwhile, light years away, Marcus sat in his prison cell on a Zephyrian research station. The room was small and cold, with gray walls and a single window. Through it, he could see alien scientists working with strange machines. A Zephyrian guard brought him food, some kind of gray paste that tasted like nothing. Eat, the guard said in broken English. Scientists want you healthy for tests. Marcus ate slowly, thinking about Earth. By now, Sarah would have delivered his message. The Lazarus Protocol would be active. Soon the galaxy would learn what humans really were. The door opened and Dr. Kelth entered. She was the Zephyrian scientist in charge of studying Marcus. She was tall and thin like all her species, but her eyes were crueler than most. Good morning, human, she said. Today we will test your pain tolerance again. My people are very interested in human durability. Marcus said nothing. He had learned that talking only made the tests worse. Dr. Kelth attached small devices to his arms. They sent electric shocks through his body, measuring his reactions. She wrote notes on a tablet as Marcus gritted his teeth and endured the pain. Remarkable, she said. Your species continues functioning even under significant stress. This will make you excellent workers. My people won't surrender, Marcus said quietly. Dr. Kelth laughed. They already have. We've been broadcasting your situation across the galaxy for 3 weeks. No response from Earth, no rescue attempts, no diplomatic protest. They've abandoned you. Marcus smiled, which seemed to surprise her. Have they? What's funny, human? You think no response means surrender, Marcus said. But maybe it means something else. Dr. Kelth looked annoyed. Like what? Marcus looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, Admiral Reeves was moving the greatest military force humanity had ever assembled. Somewhere out there, Earth was getting ready to show the galaxy what happened when you hurt a human. Maybe it means they're coming, he said softly. Dr. Kelth snorted. Your primitive ships against the Zephyrian Empire? We have technology you can't even understand. Marcus closed his eyes and thought about Sarah, about Admiral Reeves, about all the humans who were risking everything to bring him home. You're about to find out how much you don't understand about us. Outside his window, the stars looked peaceful and quiet. But Marcus knew that soon they would burn with the fury of humanity unleashed. High Admiral Zex stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the peaceful stars through the large windows. The Zephyrian Empire controlled this entire sector, and nothing moved without his permission. His ship, the Eternal Dominion, was the most powerful vessel in the fleet, 3 kilometers long and armed with weapons that could destroy planets. "Status report," he commanded. "All quiet, sir," replied his tactical officer. "The human prisoner remains secure at Research Station Omega-7. No sign of rescue attempts." Zex nodded with satisfaction. It had been 3 months since they captured the human diplomat. 3 months of silence from Earth, just as he had predicted. Young species always collapsed when faced with superior power. "Sir," said the communications officer, "we're receiving strange readings from the outer sensor grid." "What kind of readings?" "Energy signatures consistent with—" "Well, sir, they look like ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel." "Lots of ships," Zex frowned. "From which direction?" "That's the problem, sir. From all directions." The main screen lit up with tactical data. Red dots appeared throughout Zephyrian space. Dozens at first, then hundreds, then thousands. They surrounded every major military base, every shipyard, every command center. "Impossible," Zex whispered. "Where did they come from?" "Sir, we're being hailed on all frequencies." The same message repeated in Zephyrian, Galactic Standard, and English. "English? The human language?" "Yes, sir." Zex's blood turned cold. "Put it on screen." The image that appeared made him step backward in shock. It was a human woman, middle-aged with steel gray hair and wearing a military uniform he had never seen before. Behind her stood other humans at control stations on what was clearly a warship bridge. "I am Admiral Sarah Reeves of the Earth Federation Navy," the woman said. Her voice was calm but carried deadly promise. "3 months ago, you captured Captain Marcus Chen during peaceful diplomatic negotiations. You have held him prisoner, tortured him, and used his suffering for entertainment." Zex tried to speak, but no words came. "I am here to collect our officer," Admiral Reeves continued. "You have 1 hour to return Captain Chen unharmed to his ship. If you comply, we will withdraw our forces and consider this matter closed." "And if we don't?" Zex finally managed to ask. Admiral Reeves smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing he had ever seen. "Then we will take him back by force, and you will learn why Earth doesn't negotiate with kidnappers." The transmission ended. Zex stood in stunned silence as his officers worked frantically at their stations. "Sir, tactical analysis coming in," reported his tactical officer. "We count 12 separate human battle fleets. Each fleet has—" "This can't be right." "What?" "Each fleet has more ships than our entire military, sir. And the energy readings from their weapons. They're using technology we've never seen before." "That's impossible. Human technology is primitive." "Apparently not, sir." High Counselor Vex's voice came over the communication system from the capital world. "Admiral Zex, what is the meaning of this?" "My advisors tell me there are human ships throughout our space." "Yes, sir." "They want their diplomat back. 1 human? They're threatening war over 1 human?" Before Zex could answer, new alarms started ringing. "Sir, the humans are attacking Station Omega-7. On the screen, Zex watched in horror as human ships surrounded the research station where Marcus was being held. But these weren't the small, simple vessels they had observed before. These ships were massive, sleek, and moved with deadly precision. The station's commander tried to fight back, but it was useless. Human weapons cut through Zephyrian shields like they weren't there. In minutes, the station was crippled and boarding pods were attaching to its hull. At the same time, reports came in from across the Empire. Human fleets were attacking every major military installation simultaneously. 17 star systems under assault at once, all perfectly coordinated. "How are they doing this?" Zex demanded. "Our intelligence said they barely had faster-than-light travel." His science officer looked up from her instruments with fear in her silver eyes. "Sir, I'm analyzing their ship designs. These aren't modifications of existing technology. These are completely new designs, built specifically to counter our weapons and defenses." "What do you mean?" "Their shields operate on frequencies that make our energy weapons nearly useless. Their armor is designed to deflect our projectiles. Their tactics suggest they know exactly how we fight." She paused. "Sir, they've been studying us for years. Everything they've shown us before was fake." On Research Station Omega-7, Marcus heard explosions echoing through the metal corridors. Emergency lights flashed red and alien voices shouted in panic over the communication system. Dr. Kelth burst into his cell, her usual calm demeanor replaced by terror. "What's happening?" "What are your people doing?" "They're coming for me," Marcus said simply. "Just like I told you they would. This is impossible." Your species is primitive. Marcus stood up slowly. After months of captivity, he was thin and scarred, but his eyes burned with fierce pride. You never understood humans, Dr. Kelth. You saw what we wanted you to see. You thought we were weak because we tried diplomacy first. You thought we were stupid because we spoke simply. You made the same mistake that every bully makes. What mistake? You thought kindness meant weakness. The explosions were getting closer. Through his small window, Marcus could see human ships surrounding the station. They moved like a school of deadly fish, perfectly coordinated and utterly relentless. Your empire is about to learn something about my species, Marcus continued. We value every single human life. We will cross the galaxy for one person. We will fight impossible odds for one of our own, and we will burn down anyone who hurts our family. The door to his cell exploded inward. Human soldiers in armor he had never seen before rushed in, their weapons ready. The leader removed her helmet, revealing a familiar face. Sarah? Marcus said in amazement. Hello, Marcus, Sarah Martinez said with a grin. Ready to go home? As human soldiers secured the station, Marcus walked free for the first time in 3 months. Through the corridors, he could see other prisoners, aliens from dozens of species who had been held for research. The humans were freeing all of them. On the bridge of the EFS Marcus Chen, Admiral Reeves watched tactical displays showing the complete collapse of Zephyrian defenses. Her ships had been designed for this exact mission, using intelligence that Marcus himself had provided during his years as a diplomat. Admiral, reported her tactical officer, Zephyrian High Command is requesting immediate ceasefire. They want to negotiate. Tell them we don't negotiate with kidnappers. Admiral Reeves replied coldly. Continue the attack. Ma'am, we're receiving surrender signals from 17 Zephyrian installations. I don't care if they surrender. They hurt one of ours. There are consequences for that. Across Zephyrian space, the most powerful empire in the galaxy was crumbling under humanity's assault. Ships that had ruled the stars for centuries were being destroyed by weapons they couldn't understand, tactics they couldn't counter, and a fury they had never imagined. The galaxy watched in shocked silence as Earth showed its true face for the first time. This wasn't the peaceful, simple species that had been trading quietly for 50 years. This was something else entirely. Something that had been hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself, and all of it. Every ship, every weapon, every carefully planned attack was happening because they had made one mistake. They had captured Marcus Chen, and Earth had come to take him back. Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the EFS Marcus Chen, looking out at the burning remains of Zephyrian Defense Station Alpha Prime. His body was still weak from months of captivity, but his mind was sharp and his eyes were hard. The uniform they had given him was clean and pressed, with new insignia he didn't recognize. Status report, he said to the tactical officer. Sir, 16 Zephyrian military installations have been destroyed or captured. Their main fleet is in full retreat. We estimate their military capacity is down by 70%. Marcus nodded. Behind him, Admiral Reeves worked at the command station, coordinating the assault across multiple star systems. Her face showed no emotion, but Marcus knew her well enough to see the controlled fury in her movements. Sarah's team reports successful liberation of Research Station Omega-7, the communications officer announced. All prisoners have been freed, including 47 aliens from 12 different species. Good, Marcus said. What about the Zephyrian civilians? No civilian targets have been hit, sir. All attacks are focused on military and government installations only. Admiral Reeves looked up from her station. Marcus, you should be in medical bay. You've been through hell. I'm exactly where I need to be, Marcus replied. He walked to the main tactical display. Show me the Zephyrian capital system. The screen lit up with a 3-dimensional map of the Zephyr Prime system. The planet itself was protected by massive orbital platforms and a fleet of their most advanced warships. Red indicators showed human forces moving into position around the system. They're asking for a ceasefire, Admiral Reeves said. High Counselor Vex himself is trying to contact us. Let him wait, Marcus said coldly. They made me wait for 3 months while they tortured me for entertainment. They can wait a few more hours. A new voice came from behind them. Captain Chen? Marcus turned to see a young alien with purple skin and large dark eyes. She was one of the prisoners they had rescued from the research station. Her name was Kree, and she belonged to a species called the Vorthon. Yes? I wanted to thank you, she said in broken English. Your people. They saved us all. I was prisoner for 2 years. I thought I would die there. Marcus knelt down to her level. No one should be treated the way they treated us. Your people will be returned to their homeworld safely. Kree looked around the bridge with wonder. Your ships are so advanced. Your weapons are so powerful. Why did you hide this from the galaxy? Because we hoped we would never need to use it, Marcus said. We wanted peace. But some people mistake kindness for weakness. The communications officer interrupted. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. They're demanding an immediate ceasefire and requesting emergency negotiations. Admiral Reeves snorted. Where was the Galactic Council when Marcus was being tortured? Where were they when the Zephyrians were threatening to enslave humanity? They're scared, Marcus observed. They've realized that everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. On the main screen, images appeared from across the galaxy. News broadcasts from dozens of different alien species showed the same thing: shock, fear, and disbelief. The peaceful humans they thought they knew had revealed themselves to be the most powerful military force the galaxy had ever seen. Sir, the tactical officer reported, we're detecting movement from other alien fleets. The Corvan Empire is mobilizing their navy. The Stellar Federation is putting their forces on high alert. They think we're going to attack them next, Admiral Reeves said. Are we? Asked the communications officer. Marcus was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he walked to the communication station. Open a channel to all human ships. All frequencies. Channel open, sir. Marcus stood straight despite his injuries. When he spoke, his voice carried to every human ship in the assault force and was broadcast to listening posts across the galaxy. This is Captain Marcus Chen of Earth. 3 months ago, I was captured by the Zephyrian Empire while conducting peaceful diplomatic negotiations. For 3 months I was held prisoner, tortured and used for entertainment. For 3 months the galaxy watched and did nothing. He paused, letting his words sink in across space. Today Earth has shown the galaxy who we really are. We are not the simple peaceful traders you thought you knew. We are humans and we do not abandon our own. We do not negotiate with kidnappers. We do not surrender to bullies. Another pause. On alien worlds across the galaxy, millions of beings listened to his words. The Zephyrian Empire started this war when they captured me. We are ending it now. But let me make something clear to every species listening to this transmission. Earth has no desire to conquer the galaxy. We want only peace, respect, and friendship. But if you threaten our people, if you capture our citizens, if you mistake our kindness for weakness, you will face the same fate as the Zephyrians. Marcus looked directly into the camera. We came for one human. We brought 12 fleets and burned half your empire to get him back. Remember that the next time you think about threatening Earth. The transmission ended. For a moment, the bridge was completely silent. Think that got the message across? Admiral Reeves asked. I hope so, Marcus replied. But just in case it didn't, he turned to the tactical officer. Begin the final assault on Zephyr Prime. I want their government centers destroyed and their leadership captured within 6 hours. Sir, they're trying to surrender again. Too late for that. They had their chance to return me peacefully. As human fleets moved toward the Zephyrian capital world, High Counselor Vex sat in his command bunker deep beneath the planet's surface. Around him, his advisors argued and panic filled the air. We must contact the other empires, one advisor said. Ask for their help. No one will help us, another replied. They're all too terrified of the humans now. Vex stared at the tactical displays showing human ships destroying his orbital defenses with ease. His mighty empire, built over centuries, was crumbling in days. How did we get this so wrong? He whispered. Sir, his intelligence officer said, we've been analyzing their technology. These ships, these weapons, they've been in development for decades. The humans were planning for this scenario long before we ever met them. They planned for war while talking about peace? No, sir. I think they planned for war while hoping for peace. They prepared for the worst while working for the best. Vex closed his silver eyes, and we gave them the worst. On the EFS Marcus Chen, sensors detected the final collapse of Zephyrian orbital defenses. The way to the planet was clear. Admiral, Marcus said, I'm ready to accept their surrender now. Admiral Reeves raised an eyebrow. Feeling merciful? Feeling human, Marcus corrected. We've made our point. The galaxy knows what happens when they hurt one of us. Now they need to know we're not monsters. We can be reasoned with as long as they treat us with respect. Admiral Reeves nodded and opened a channel to the Zephyrian capital. High Counselor Vex appeared on screen, looking defeated and terrified. "I am ready to discuss terms," he said. Marcus stepped forward. "Unconditional surrender. Complete disarmament of your military. Reparations to every species you've enslaved or experimented on. And a formal apology to humanity, broadcast across the galaxy. And in return? In return, we won't destroy your civilization. Your people can live in peace, but never again as conquerors." Vex was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I accept your terms." As the Zephyrian Empire officially surrendered, Marcus looked out at the stars. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. They had learned that humans valued every single life, that they would fight impossible odds for their people, and that kindness was not the same as weakness. The message was sent. Earth hoped it would never need to be sent again. 6 months later, Marcus Chen walked into the Great Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council. The massive chamber could hold representatives from thousands of species, and today it was completely full. Alien delegates from across the galaxy sat in curved rows that rose up like an amphitheater. The air buzzed with nervous energy in dozens of different languages. Marcus wore a new uniform, not the simple blue of a diplomatic officer, but the black and gold of Earth's newly created position of Ambassador General. The title had been created specifically for him, giving him authority to speak for all of humanity in galactic affairs. As he walked down the central aisle toward the speaking platform, conversation stopped. Alien eyes followed his every step. Some looked at him with fear, others with respect, but none with the dismissive contempt they had shown humans before. The Speaker of the Council, an ancient being from the ethereal collective, stood at the central podium. Her species looked like living crystals, and when she spoke, her voice rang like musical chimes. "The Council recognizes Ambassador General Marcus Chen of Earth," she announced. "The floor is yours." Marcus stepped up to the podium and looked out at the assembled representatives. He could see species he recognized: the bird-like avians, the reptilian scales, the insectoid hive minds. He could also see many he had never met before, species that had come from the far edges of the galaxy just to hear what Earth had to say. 6 months ago, Marcus began, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's speakers, "I stood in a different room, on a space station called Kepler-7. I was there as Earth's representative, hoping to begin peaceful relationships with the Zephyrian Empire." Murmurs rippled through the audience. Many of them had watched the broadcast of what happened next. "Instead of finding friends, I found those who saw my people as nothing more than potential slaves. They captured me, tortured me, and used my suffering for entertainment. They threatened to enslave my entire species if Earth did not submit to their demands." Marcus paused, letting his words sink in. The galaxy watched, the Galactic Council watched, and nobody did anything. The chamber was completely silent now. Even the translator devices seemed to whisper more quietly. So Earth acted alone. We revealed technologies we had kept hidden for decades. We showed military strength that we had hoped never to use. We brought 12 fleets and burned the Zephyrian Empire to ash and memory. And we did all of this for one reason. Marcus looked directly at the ethereal speaker. "We did it because humanity does not abandon its own. We did it because no human life is expendable. We did it because we believe that dignity and freedom are not privileges to be granted by the strong. They are rights that belong to everyone." A delegate from the Corvin Empire stood up. The Corvins looked like tall, muscular humans, but with blue skin and silver hair. "Ambassador General, your actions have destabilized the entire galaxy. Other species fear that Earth will attack them next." Marcus turned to face the Corvin. "Are you planning to capture and torture human citizens?" "Of course not." "Are you planning to enslave human colonies or demand our submission?" "No." "Then you have nothing to fear from Earth." Marcus looked around the chamber. "Let me make humanity's position clear to everyone here. We want peace. We want trade. We want friendship. We have no desire to conquer or rule over other species." A delegate from the Stellar Federation, a species that looked like walking plants, spoke up. "But you clearly have the power to do so. Your military strength is beyond anything we imagined. How do we know you won't change your minds?" Marcus smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "Because conquest was never our goal. If we wanted to rule the galaxy, we could have started doing it 50 years ago when we first developed faster-than-light travel. Instead, we chose to trade peacefully and learn about other cultures. Then why hide your true capabilities? Asked an avian delegate. Because we hoped we would never need them, Marcus replied. We hoped that by showing ourselves as peaceful traders, other species would treat us with respect. We were wrong about some of you, but we were right about most of you. The ethereal speaker chimed softly. What does Earth want from the Council now? Marcus pulled out a small device and activated it. A holographic document appeared in the air above the chamber, translated into dozens of languages. We propose the Chen Doctrine, he said, named not after me but as a reminder of what happens when civilized beings abandon civilization. The delegates began reading the document on their personal displays. Marcus continued speaking as they read. The doctrine is simple. Any species that threatens, captures, enslaves, or harms human citizens will face the full military response of Earth and her colonies. However, any species that treats humanity with respect and dignity will find us to be generous allies, trading partners, and friends. A delegate from the Crystalline Confederation, beings made of living mineral, spoke in a voice like grinding stone. This sounds like a threat? It's a promise, Marcus corrected. The same promise we make to every human child. If someone hurts you, we will come for you. If someone threatens you, we will protect you. If someone tries to enslave you, we will set you free. And if we refuse to accept this doctrine? Asked the Corvan delegate. Marcus was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of 12 battle fleets and the fury of an entire species. Then you will learn the same lesson the Zephyrians learned. Earth will not negotiate with those who threaten our people. Earth will not surrender to those who demand our submission. And Earth will not abandon any human anywhere, ever. The chamber erupted in discussion. Delegates argued in dozens of languages while their governments contacted them with instructions. Marcus waited patiently for order to return. Finally, the ethereal speaker restored quiet. The Council will need time to consider this proposal. Of course, Marcus said. Take all the time you need. But remember, this doctrine is not a request for permission. It's a statement of fact. Earth will protect its citizens whether the Council approves or not. A small delegate near the back of the chamber stood up. Marcus recognized her. It was Kree, the young Vorthon he had helped rescue from the Zephyrian research station. She now served as her species' representative to the Council. Ambassador General, she said in her clear young voice. My people have a question. Yes? Does Earth's protection extend only to humans? Marcus looked puzzled. What do you mean? When your people rescued you, they also rescued 47 aliens from 12 different species. Your soldiers could have left us there and focused only on humans, but they didn't. They saved us all. Kree looked around the chamber. My question is, if someone captures and tortures a Vorthon, will Earth come for us too? The chamber was completely silent. This was a question no one had expected. Marcus thought for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was gentle but firm. Earth's primary responsibility is to our own people, but humanity believes that freedom and dignity belong to everyone, not just humans. We will not stand by and watch innocent beings suffer when we have the power to help them. Kree smiled, the first time Marcus had seen her truly happy since her rescue. Then the Vorthon Collective formally supports the Chen Doctrine. Other voices began speaking up around the chamber. The liberated worlds, species that had been freed from Zephyrian slavery, declared their support. The smaller, weaker civilizations that had been bullied by larger empires added their voices. Not everyone agreed. The major powers were still afraid, still uncertain about humanity's true intentions. But change had begun. As Marcus left the chamber hours later, he thought about the long road ahead. The galaxy would never be the same. The old order where the strong dominated the weak was ending. A new order was beginning, one where strength existed to protect rather than to conquer. Outside the council building, Marcus looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, human ships patrolled trade routes, ensuring safe passage for all species. Somewhere out there, former Zephyrian slaves were returning to their homeworlds as free beings. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was learning that humans meant what they said. Marcus smiled and began walking toward his transport. He had work to do, relationships to build, and a new galactic order to help create. It wouldn't be easy, but then again, the best things never were. As he walked, alien children from a dozen different species watched from windows and doorways. Their parents had told them the story of the human who was captured, and how his people burned half the galaxy to bring him home. And in their young minds, a new lesson was being learned. Never cage a human. Their pack will come for them, and when they do, stars will die. The galaxy had received its education. Class was now in session.